took what I wanted, but I wanted everything. And I live for the moment. I wanted everything. I live for the moment. I live for the moment. Don't care about a thing. Always took what I wanted, and I wanted everything. 'Cause I live for the moment. Don't care about a thing. Always took what I wanted, and I wanted everything. And I live for the moment.
This is iRacing.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to iRacing's coverage of the third race of the 2022 eNASCAR College iRacing Series, powered by NACE Starleague, the iFolio 75, live this evening from Watkins Glen International in Watkins Glen, New York. James Pike here, alongside a new face, a new voice to the College Series for the first time in 2022. Joined this evening by Terry Radford, also a very big-time University of Tennessee fan. Terry, you excited to go road course racing with us this evening?
I've never been so excited in my life to call a 7-turn road course race, but you, James?
So very excited. Well, so excited he's barely got any words. Makes sense. Fair enough. But before we get going with tonight's racing, let's take a moment to have a few words from our partners for the evening at iFolio.
Hi, I'm Chris Adams, Creative Director here at iFolio, and we are incredibly excited to sponsor today's race and partner with CSL Esports. We are the premier digital marketing platform across industries, and if you've been following us on social, you've likely seen our fully customizable, pre-built digital portfolios that have been used to sponsor today's race for the players as well as the team.
We are the only digital marketing platform that is built for creatives, for marketers, even for everyday users to build, publish, and easily modify your digital presence. We are super pumped to be the official digital marketing platform for Playfly and CSL Esports.
If you'd like to find out more, visit us at ifolio.cloud/home or follow us on social. Off to the races.
Really cool to have the folks at iFolio on board for this third race of the 2022 eNASCAR College iRacing Series campaign. But before we go racing, Terry, let's dive into Watkins Glen International. This is one of the most popular tracks in all of iRacing and one of the most popular tracks to go road racing with these vehicles for the NASCAR Capable Truck Series that we'll be using tonight.
Yeah, you see a 7-turn road course here. There's a lot of tight corners, and these trucks are going to be interesting to see what the new update style brings to it. There's a lot of elevation changes and a really fast road course. I'm excited to see what these guys and gals can do around this Tortoise.
This is traditionally a very fast road course. Lots of long, powerful straightaways where you can just blitz down into a lot of braking zones. We'll see a lot of that on hand tonight as we take a look at the starting grid for this third race. Stephen Wilson out of the University of Iowa, your pole sitter, eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver. He's joined by another Coke Series driver to the outside of him out of the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. It's Garrett Lowe. Omar Giallo starts in third place for the University of Wisconsin out Milwaukee. He's joined by Jack Coyne from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in fourth. Logan Clampett from Saddleback Community College starts in fifth. Ryan Doucette from the University of Southern Maine rolls off from sixth.
See Daniel Buttafuoco down there from Rutgers. Outside of him is Thomas Toomey from Virginia. You got Liam Sheen going down here from the University of Wisconsin Stevens Point. John Hall pulling out to his outside from Massachusetts Maritimes Academy. Alex Collix from Roland Community College, and Christopher Shella from Tennessee's home Vanderbilt.
Christina Ryan from Ohio rolls off to the outside of Brett Suggs from High Point University. They make up row 7. Row 8 is Connor Okresic for the University of Colorado at Boulder, and Ricky Springer from UNOH. Austin Farr from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville joined on row 9. And 18th on the grid from the University of Rhode Island, it's Sean Yensick.
You got Mr. Lynn down there from Union College with Blake Bottoms. He's sitting over there from Stakes College. NAU's Trey Normill out there with Mick Robinson. Colton Salick is down there in row 12, and Matt Kemp from Siena Heights University.
Brandon McKissick from Florida Atlantic, the Owls driver, starts to the inside of row 13, joined by Ryan Gamble from Dean College. Jake Cummings from Wingate University, not terribly far away from Charlotte, in row 14, starting 27th. To his outside for the Cougars of Washington State, it's Travis Barnes. Colson Phelps from the Cyclones of Iowa State rolls off in 29th. 30th on the grid from Auburn is Reese Bayham.
You got Henry Morse going on down here. He's going to be from Berkeley University. Akron's own Will Weiser out there in row 16. You got Anthony Keys, who's rolling along down here. And you got Thomas Kent from Buffalo. The UH's own Christopher Fitz, and GCU's Derek Jennings down there in row 18.
Final 3 drivers on the grid. John Schwartz from the University of Pittsburgh. Temple College's Thomas Clausen, and Athena LeClaire from St. Clair College, the 39th and final driver on the grid. Take a look at our few notes before we go racing. We'll start with our race analysis this evening. Terry Radford. We should have a lot of fun here over the course of the next hour or so, but we go for 30 laps, just over 70 miles, just under 120 kilometers. Pit road speed is 45 miles an hour. Your delta, your average time to get in and out of pit lane, 55 to 60 seconds. 3 sets of tires available to these drivers this evening, and your fuel window 15 to 16 laps, so we can expect at least 1 pit stop from everybody in the field this evening.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when you come on to pit lane what you're going to be able to do as you go through here. You see the temperature is 78 miles an hour. The track temp is 101. So when they get around these corners, the tires are really going to heat up. And it's going to get them when they get on the brake to get on pit lane. It's going to make it hard. It's going to make the back end want to wobble.
And again, a friendly reminder, we are racing for scholarship money this evening. $4,500 to give away in scholarships to the top 3 drivers, $3,000 to the winner, $1,000 to the runner-up, and $500 to third place. So many schools, so many drivers, 412 drivers registered for tonight's event, 269 different schools trying to make it in the time attacks to qualify for this third round of the eNASCAR College iRacing Series. But your top 39 are here at the virtual Watkins Glen International to take the green flag of the iFolio 75. And we are underway with round number 3 of the 2022 eNASCAR College iRacing Series, powered by NACE Starleague from Watkins Glen.
You see him go too wide here through turn 1. This would be the trouble spot of this entire race, James. Through the 30 laps, every single driver is going to want to push it harder and harder. And with Wilson pulling away with the slight lead so far, Lowe and Dallo is going to have a hard time getting up there to get him.
Steven Wilson is absolutely gone already to the tune of about 1.2 seconds. As you see some battles a little bit further back. Thomas Toomey and your winner last time out, Daniel Buttafuoco, making their way into the bus stop, the interlude for the first time, and arguably one of the trickiest places on the racetrack as one truck went sideways in the interlude. You saw it on your screens. I believe that was Connor Okrenzik from University of Colorado at Boulder who went sideways on first entry into the bus stop there.
Yeah, the bus stop will be one of the hardest parts of the track. You go all race long. Other than the S's, I do believe, you don't want to go 2x2 through there, especially with the width of these trucks. I'm very happy to see them go single file right here because now you get to see who's going to be fast to get through the field.
Working our way back across the start-finish line to round out the first lap. A good look there at the appropriately numbered 49 of Garrett Lowe for the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, the 49ers as they were. And then Omar Diallo just behind him. Remember Diallo racing for the University of Wisconsin and Milwaukee. The Panthers, who usually would be in some form of black and yellow and purple, but it's the red and white on Diallo's car this evening. See, he'll try and chase down Lowe, but we're already starting to see these top five get into a rhythm, Terry, and separate themselves from the rest of this pack.
Yeah, we're going to go take a little replay here with the 14 going around through the bus stop. We'll see what happened. You see the circle going around him. As soon as it goes through 2x2, it just looks like the car to the outside in the back didn't see that they were there. One starts to slow down harder, and the rest of the field doesn't have time to check up going through that bus stop. You go back live, you see this 23 starting to catch up to P2. That 49ers machine, man, he's got some good speed through the center of the corner.
Two drivers at the front who have tons of experience, who raced here last August in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, Steven Wilson and Garrett Lowe. So in that sense, not a huge surprise to see them go 1-2. A little bit further back in the field, here's Logan Clampett, another driver in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, making a pass for the 8th position, trying to make his way past Alex Kalanic and work closer to Liam Sheed, who currently holds that 7th spot just up the road.
Yeah, I kind of thought that Logan Clampett and our Coke Series drivers are going to be a little higher on the field. Obviously, you see Steven Wilson taken away with this race lead. But to see Lowe and Sheen and them come through this field, it's really starting to show that, hey, there's a lot of these drivers out here that can really put a challenge on for our guys.
Good battling here as we will go on board with Logan Clampett, originally from Trabuco Canyon, California. He's trying to chase down the Rockland Community College driver, Alex Kalanic there. And I think starting to get the tires at the temp, I've noticed that, especially on road courses, it takes just a little bit for Clampett to get going, but once there's a little bit of heat in the tires, he usually finds a way to click off some pretty fast laps, although he's got a pretty hard challenger in Thomas Toomey, who's been a mainstay in this college series all spring long from the University of Virginia, the Cavalier trying to swashbuckle his way around Clampett as well.
Yeah, you said Logan Clampett, man. He's getting up on the wheel and 7 turns around this road course, and it theoretically could be 8 if you talk about the bus stop coming out to the right and then the left-hander. Sometimes it suits drivers harder just to get up on there and drive with their chest, but Clampett's doing a great job as he's going to get past right there on the outside or driver's right. As you go further back in the field, you got a great battle going on here between the 71.
Big battle here a little bit further in the pack. That's Nick Robinson out of East Carolina University, the purple and gold of the Pirates there. As we'll look down and notice there, we saw it just before his name came up in the lower right portion of your screen. He's working with an H-pattern gearbox, which for a road course is a bit of an anomaly. Usually, especially if you're road racing, you're going to find a sequential shifting gearbox, especially in a lot of these driver sims. But if you're being true to form, these trucks do have an H-pattern gearbox in real life, just like they do in the NASCAR Capable Truck Series. So in that sense, maybe it makes sense that Nick Robinson is using an H-pattern shifter on his rig, or maybe he's just used to it and likes the feel of an H-pattern better.
I tell you what, that's one of the most impressive things I think I've seen ever being on iRacing is to see a driver be that talented to race in VR, race with a H-pattern shifter, and still be able to make passes on a road course. I'm gonna have to go get some driver's coaching from him because that's impressive. What a drive for the 71 so far.
And a friendly reminder that if you want all the latest news and updates from the world of eNASCAR, grab your mobile device, take a picture of that QR code on the lower right-hand portion of your screen, and sign up on the form that will pop up on your phones today, courtesy of iRacing and NASCAR. Back up at the front, or at least towards the front. Good battle here between Diallo and Garrett Lowe. They really haven't separated all that much. And Steven Wilson hasn't gotten too much further away. That gap from Wilson to Lowe is stabilized at about 1.8 seconds, and then call it maybe a truck length or two between Lowe and Diallo for second and third.
Yeah, Lowe's been able to stay just a tad bit ahead. I talked about how Lowe was able to rotate through the center of these corners just a little bit better than what Diallo's been able to do. But the 23's been able to get a better braking zone right here into one. You take a look here as we look at the 23. He's able to pinch lower. Here we go. We're going to take a look here with Lowe. Watch him kind of work his way through here, how calm he is. He keeps it pinched to the inside. He dang near touches those turtles, and he's able to go more and more as now you're starting to see him pull away.
Garrett Lowe's got some real-world road course experience. I know he's run the U.S. Legends cars and road courses at Charlotte Motor Speedway in real life, so we'll see whether or not that sort of pace translates to iRacing as we go a little bit further back in the field. And I feel like this is the part where I'm just going to step aside because I see a big power T on the hood of Austin Farr's machine, and I feel like that's my cue for Terry Radford to take over this battle.
Austin Farr, what a paint scheme. It's great to be a Tennessee Volunteer. It looks like he's trying to make a pass right there on Christopher Schella. He'll rotate right there through that corner really well. He's going to get a powerful exit on as they set themselves up for the bus stop right here. This is one of the, or I'm sorry, they're all going to the back. I missed the whole part of the track. They're going into turn 6 right here, but he sets up a great run. And this one right here, if you rotate this corner and you get all the way a little bit over those turtles, you get a good run here. Pinch or low, get a run, but now look at it. You got 3 trucks in front of him, and that's the Battle of Tennessee. Vanderbilt versus the Power T. I'm taking the Power T every day, James Pike.
I was about to make that point, but I think that's part of the fun of the college series is that you see some of the rivalries popping up in real life and in sim, and we know how big Tennessee and Vandy are as rivals, usually playing football on Thanksgiving weekend, as you get a good look at Austin Farr in the lower right-hand portion of your screen. But they're not the only 2 schools that I've seen that have representatives in this college series. Let's also not forget Colson Phelps and, that guy in the lead, Steven Wilson from Iowa and Iowa State, battle for the Cy-Hawk Trophy. So a few good rivalries here in the eNASCAR College iRacing Series.
And James Pike, this is what makes iRacing so special, is you can put something like this on with rival schools, you would say. They get to come out here and race one another, and this is the power of iRacing. There's different ethnicities out here. There's different people of different walks of life that are out here racing side by side, door to door, as contacts made here for that battle right in front of this for the Battle of 23rd. Phelps, Gavel, Cummings, nor Mile is out here battling for 23rd.
I was about to say, speaking of Colson Phelps, who we just mentioned, he's right in the heart of this pack. We've got Colton Salick, and we go on board with Colson Phelps. So that's Salick that you see just ahead of him from lots of cool things and lots of fun. And I think that could well be a Porsche that I see on his rig there, perhaps, Terry, down on the lower right. You see it just by the edge?
Yeah, that's what it looks like right there. But Phelps sitting here in the 23rd position. He got a little loose there. This is 8 laps in. This is about when I thought the tires were really going to start to fall off. You're going to notice these drivers having to throttle it a little bit more out of the exit of the corner, especially coming to the bus stop. You see they're going to hit the turtles. They're going to go through, try to get as straight as possible. Driver's going in the grass there, and that truck is loose, and he's fighting it. Oh, he almost turned him in front.
Oh, he just about got into him. As I think there might also be a Dale Earnhardt Jr. diecast as well. But Phelps now has to worry with Ryan Gavel coming to his inside through the carousel, but he'll be outside here for the final run through turns 6 and 7. As Phelps will try and dive it down to the bottom, and might get a shove there from Ryan Gavel to make that pass a little bit easier or harder, depending on whose perspective you share. But really good stuff here between Colson Phelps and Ryan Gavel. This for the 23rd position as they come back to the stripe.
Man, Ryan Gavel was all up his trumpet all the way through there. I really thought we were going to see him get turned around, and if that was to happen, you look at all those trucks that are behind him. Iowa State ain't playing, man. That's a nasty set of defense, just like them on the field. The 85's around.
Trouble coming off the first turn for Trey Normile out of Northern Arizona University. Not the way he wanted to carry on in this race, as he'll have to get it looped around. We'll say green flag racing, and we'll jump to Liam Sheen and Alex Kalonix. This is the battle for 7th and 8th. We talked about a lot of the drivers towards the back of the top 10 already, so here's another good look at the battles they've been having. We've also got Thomas Toomey and Christina Ryan in the ballpark as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here watching this 92 of Liam Sheen and Alex Kalonix. They've been fighting around one another pretty frequently. Their lap times have kind of been matching here. You haven't seen a big separation or a big gap in speed. The 22's been able to get the drive off the corner, but you can see with the 92, he's just got straight line speed, and that's phenomenal. He's great on the braking zone as well. As you look right here with Kalonix going into turn 1, these drivers are really having to fight this track temp.
Kalonix, a sophomore at Rockland Community College from Chestnut Ridge, New York. He's majoring in communication and media arts, and really good setup there, really powerful wheel too. You can see all the vibrations as he runs up through the S's. This track isn't necessarily bumpy by nature. Of course, we got the updated version of Watkins Glen recently in iRacing not too long ago, but it's just that change in elevation, and then the curves here as they go through the inner loop that upset the vehicle no matter what you're racing. And part of the challenge of a fast lap here is maintaining control while taking the bumps.
Well, and not only that, but you have to have really good throttle control. As you see right there in the bus stop, Sheen did not get good control through there. You can see the back end want to kick. And the 22 of Kalonix, he really made it stick. He had a straight entry and a straight exit, and that's what you want here. That's what builds a fast lap. And James, if you miss one part of the track, it takes another lap to get your momentum back.
Lots of battles all around the racetrack. Lots of good fighting in this iFolio 75. As we get another good look at Liam Sheen's machine. Sheen, of course, racing for the University of Wisconsin at Stevens Point. So 2 drivers, to my knowledge, from the University of Wisconsin system competing in this. And he started to stretch out that gap a little bit on Alex Kalonix and even Thomas Toomey, who's fallen off the pace just a bit towards the back end of the top 10.
Yeah, you continuously see the 22 bouncing up and down through the turtles. Everybody's using more and more of the racetrack. A little bit of grass coming out here on here as well, but you talk about iRacing rescanning this track. It used to be very bumpy. It was hard to gain control through the center of the corners. It was also hard to get back on the throttle. But iRacing did a wonderful job rescanning it, smoothing it out, bringing it back to what the lifetime was. And that's what's awesome about iRacing, is they go out and they put tracks on here as we look up here at the 16.
A little bit further back in the field, looking at the 16 machine of Chris Fritz, who currently rides right around the 30th position. John Schwartz and Anthony Keys is taking a moment here. Coke on board with Chris Fritz out of Newark, Delaware. Back up towards the front. Here's your winner from our last race at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Daniel Botafuco from Rutgers University, and he is trying to chase down Jack Coyne for that 5th position. Coyne racing for Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute from Warren, New Jersey, as we now have cars and vehicles and trucks on pit road. That's Ricky Springer, who's come down. He is the first driver that we have seen, Terry, make what should be the one pit stop that these drivers will have to go through this evening.
I would say I'm a little bit surprised to see drivers start to make these pit stops at lap 13. I kind of figured we would see more of a lap 15, lap 16 pit stop, only given the fact that if you stretch it out a couple more laps, you have even tire wear. You see the 16 is rolling off pit lane here. I would be surprised to see who's going to be next to come down. I'm not too sure that Steven Wilson's going to come down at least until lap 15. That way he can continuously try to stretch his lead out, as it's almost went to 3 seconds.
We think conventional wisdom would suggest that Wilson will likely be the last one to come down pit road, and that we'll see these pit stops cycle from the back to the front. But how about Omar Diallo, who will come in from the third position and now go on to pit road?
That was smart for Diallo right there, is because you want to short pit the leader. If you know that somebody's in your ear telling you that the leader didn't pit, you want to come down. Very surprised that Lowe didn't, because Lowe was close enough that if he would have came down pit lane right then and there, he could have made part of that 3-second gap up. But you see some of these drivers back here in the back trying to flip some track position, and I don't know, it seems like a pretty good strategy if it works out for them. There's not going to be a caution unless something big happens.
A good look at Austin Farrs. We're going to take a quick replay here of the pit entry that Brandon McKissick just had from Florida Atlantic University of the Owls. And seems like he had a bit of an adventure. Ooh. Yeah, that counts as a bit of an adventure. Slideways into there. And I wonder whether or not he gets a speeding penalty out of that too. He may be at risk of that, Terry. So that could be a good run, turn very, very south, but getting confirmation for race control, no penalty from that entry for Brandon McKissick. So I think we'll call that a lucky break.
Yeah, I'd rather be lucky than good. I mean, I'm normally really lucky. I ain't that good at nothing I do, but that was an incredible pit stop entrance as you start to see more drivers come down. That's about 4 on the air. And back there in the back, we almost saw a spin coming off the last corner.
Christopher Schella, Brett Suggs, Austin Farr, all in for service, as is Ryan Gabel, who you see on your screen now. And that will leave Wilson, Lowe, Doucette, Coyne, Budafuco, your top 5. Most of the drivers in the top 20 have yet to come down for service. But if you are splitting this race in half and trying to get even tire wear for both green flag runs, this is going to be the lap that you put in, as Ryan Doucette from Framingham, Massachusetts, out of University of Southern Maine, currently trying to work his way up into the race lead. Also trying to make sure he positions himself well for this pit stop, which should come within the next few laps, not only for him, but for everybody. And there's Steven Wilson, race leader, in on lap 15 of 30. So he's splitting it right down the middle as there's trouble for the 29 trunk of Sean Yensick out of the University of Rhode Island.
Yeah, it's a tough break right there, but an incredible save. Only got it sideways, but that's exactly what I called for Wilson to come down pit lane. Lap 15, split this race in half. I'm still very surprised that Garrett Lowe has not made a pit stop yet. This is only going to potentially grow the lead for Wilson, unless Garrett Lowe comes down pit lane, takes maybe 2 tires, which would be crazy on a road course. But it's not unheard of. You can kind of help to rotate in a little bit of the entry of the corner, especially on the right-handers.
Good look at Henry Morse there, the University of California Golden Bear. First time they've made an appearance in this eNASCAR College iRacing Series, down for service. But all eyes here on Lowe and Doucette and Jack Coyne, as we're going to get a good look here at what happened to Sean Yensick in just a few moments. We mentioned that he ran into trouble, and I suspected it might have been near the carousel, and a little bit of trouble on the exit of the inner loop, the bus stop. Good for him to lock it down on the brakes the way he did, and then managed to find a little hole to get in. But now looks like we are going to see some pit stops, as there goes Doucette down on the pit road, and that leaves Garrett Lowe in on pit road as well. So there's Lowe, there's Doucette, and that means Jack Coyne and Daniel Budafuco will take over the race lead, as Christina Ryan also comes in for service.
I mean, Jack Cohn up here really playing a different strategy with Daniel Budafuco, and that's not uncommon for Daniel. You know, I raced with him for a while on Conso's side, and for him to come over to iRacing and really showcase his talent, along with Jack Cohn, these two drivers, I think if anybody's going to play the strategy, these are the two that's going to do it. They're right on top of one another, and if they pit right now, this could be chaos because you got one driver that's going to slow up a little bit more than the other in the 52, and Daniel Buttafuoco might want to charge a little harder to try to flip it and try to get more time on entry.
Potentially you saw a really hard exit there for Jack Coyne coming out of the carousel over, call it turn 5 with this setup, the short course here at Watkins Glen. There's Thomas Toomey currently scored in 3rd, but worth noting that the top 6 have all yet to come down pit road. So Toomey, the Cavalier, will be joined at some point by Coyne, Buttafuoco, Clampett, Bottoms, and Wan Shi Lin. Top 6 that are trying to hold out. And at this point, if you're waiting to make a pit stop this late, you are effectively waiting on a yellow that may or may not come. You're thinking that's your best chance to maybe gain some track position. At least I can't think of too many other reasons as to why you'd want to stay out like this.
Well, we're not in Vegas, but if I'm a betting man, I would say that we're on a road course, and a caution coming out here with the field this spread apart is just like my Tennessee Volunteers winning the SEC championship. It's slim to none with how great the SEC's been. But looks like we're about to go on board with the 66 here.
Indeed, indeed. Let's ride with the University of Virginia's Thomas Toomey out of San Diego, California, rather, for tonight's SCW All-Board. There's a good look at Thomas's setup, and he's another one of the drivers in the VR kit. You can see what he's seeing just off on the side there with his laptop monitor, but that's a pretty hefty setup there, a proper direct drive wheelbase, a bit more feedback we've heard, and lots of fun. Though it's worth noting, you don't necessarily have to have a crazy setup to be fast at iRacing. If you got the skill, you got the talent, it will rise, you will outrun everybody else, and eventually you too can make it into a future eNASCAR College iRacing Series powered by NACE Starleague event.
Hey, look, last week's winner, Daniel Buttafuoco, up here leading this race, still yet to pit. We're coming down here to 11 laps to go, and James, I would expect that 13 to come down now. I'm sure he watched the 53 come down and had to understand that, hey, you got to make it happen, and he's not going to do it. He's going to continuously stay on the racetrack. This is very interesting to me because I don't see a caution coming out unless the iRacing people above us do it. There's no cautions at all, so I don't know what he's waiting on, or maybe he's just really good at saving fuel here.
Given that the run that we had was down 15 to 16 laps, he's definitely been saving for a good chunk of this, which is intriguing all the while. And as we look at this, worth noting, Stephen Wilson, if you're curious, is about 20 seconds back of Buttafuoco on the racetrack. Wilson is the first driver in the race amongst those who have already come down for service. Currently scored in the 4th position behind Logan Clampett, Thomas Toomey, and Daniel Buttafuoco. We will be back on the other side of this commercial break with the final 10 laps of the iFolio 75. More action from the eNASCAR College iRacing Series powered by NACE Starleague coming up in just a few moments for the virtual Watkins Glen International.
We've learned to savor the moments that were always there. And they never tasted this good.
SCW is the official technology VAR of NASCAR. Whether you're looking to outfit the office with the latest technology from your favorite brands like HP, Lenovo, or Logitech, or you're wanting to race like the pros with a full cockpit on iRacing, just like the SCW sponsored driver Taylor Hurst. SCW is where America gets IT. Shop now at scw.com.
Tonight's broadcast of the iFolio 75 from the eNASCAR College iRacing Series powered by NACE Starleague is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official fan refreshment of eNASCAR. By Logitech G. For design, engineering, and a love of driving games, Logitech G takes racing simulation to another level. Logitech G, the official wheel and pedals of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. And by SCW. Whether you're looking to outfit the office or race like the pros, SCW is where America gets IT. Shop now at scw.com. And by Plessy, the official racing chair of eNASCAR. Working our way towards the end of this iFolio 75, and you saw during the side-by-side or commercial break, there was a great battle between Garrett Lowe and Omar Diallo. Those two have been going back and forth for virtually in the entire race, but Lowe has managed to best Diallo on the fresher tires and is now going to set his sights after Stephen Wilson, who is about 6 seconds up the racetrack. So a little bit of a gap there to work with, but a little bit of time to reel him back in just the same, Terry.
Nothing makes me happier than coming down later in a race and seeing nothing but clean track in front of you, and that's what Garrett Lowe's got right here in this Charlotte 49ers Ford. This has been an incredible race, and that was a great battle between Diallo and Lowe, as you saw drivers really push it to the limits, slid off the track a couple times, got each other sideways. That's what racing's about, rip each other up.
More on board for you here. Let's go on board with our winner from last time out at Rutgers University, Daniel Budafuco. Take us around Watkins Glen in tonight's place seat on board. A lot of concentration there for Daniel Budafuco out of East Brunswick, New Jersey. Reminder that his mother, who is a Rutgers alum, painted this ski for Daniel that he also took to victory at Charlotte. So lots of Scarlet Night love in the Budafuco household, and another strong performance for Daniel Budafuco this evening.
Yeah, what an incredible run he's had, and I've known him for a long time. It's awesome to see the success that he's done over here. He's always been focused. He's always been driven to be one of the best. He was one of the best in the Pro League series on console, and here he comes to here. and he's showing out as we take a look here with the 12 of Ryan Gavel going off track just a little bit. That almost got scary for the guys behind him as you see the battle for 22nd here.
Big battle here. It's Gavel and Derek Jennings from Grand Canyon University. The Antelopes also in the mix, as is Christopher Schella from Vanderbilt and Henry Morse from California. So lots of representation literally across the country in this little group of drivers from about 22nd on through to 25th.
Yeah, there's a ton of diversity here. You see the 15 really doing a good job with Vanderbilt breathing down their neck. The 4's been able to come up here and really make some moves. Got a lot of speed in that truck. The straight line speed's good. The 15's been really good through the S's. You'll see right here. Didn't get a good setup here, but really able to make a run off the exit going into the bus stop. Yeah, that's it.
So can Christopher Schella hang on to 23rd and keep Jennings and Morse and Colson Phelps and Brandon McKissick even? They're all within this group and all within striking distance if Schella makes some form of mistake. But then again, you could say the same thing for Jennings. You can say the same thing for Morse to some degree. You can say the same for Colson Phelps. One more on board this evening. Let's go on board with Derek Jennings in tonight's Logitech G on board. Look at Henry Morse, the Golden Bear, chasing down the Antelope, and now with an opportunity to make a move into the bus stop. You saw Derek Jennings try and throw the block, but instead he's just going to drive it off deep into the inner loop and almost drove it too deep. So now, how does Morse respond? How about over the curb to get underneath Jennings into the carousel?
Oh, remnants of Boris Said going through there with Tony Stewart and Jeff Gordon. What a run through there for the 44. Kind of caught that 15 by surprise, but that's road course racing. Outbrake them, get back on the gas, make that thing loose, turn her, make it sideways. Just drift this thing. Let's have some fun. We got 3 to go.
Whether or not Henry Morris, I think, intended to pull all that off when he entered the bus stop, I'm not sure, but I think when Jennings went to make that block, it almost was too much. Jennings showing his hands as we go on board with Brandon McKissick a little bit further back. And oh, wow, look at Jennings break really early into the zone. You saw the 70 have to step right out of the way. Colson Phelps had to get away, and I think McKissick may have made contact with Derek Jennings, whose truck is clearly fading in the late stages of this iFolio 75. He slides back to 27, and McKissick up to 26, and Phelps up to 25th.
My goodness, we go on board at the right time, at the right moment to see one of the best saves of this race so far. That could have ruined 3 people's races right there, but just situational awareness. Dive it down to the bottom. You might get it sideways, but you got to make it go. And now they're starting to use the grass more to help them turn off the exit of the bus stop. This is good racing right now.
It is good racing also for those wondering about that battle up front. Buttafuoco's clear of Thomas Toomey by about 3.3 seconds. And then it's another 1.8 behind him to Logan Clampett. Another 3 just about to Steven Wilson. And now closing into the end of this race, 3 laps to go. So can Buttafuoco make it all the way on fuel and save enough in his tires to make this happen and get the victory? So get a good look here. This is Brandon McKissick working to the inside of Colson Phelps, and then they switch back over down the front stretch.
Yeah, and this is classic road course racing. You have to set your driver up or your opponent up for 2 corners ahead. You can't set them up in the S's. This is not a passing zone when they come up through here. If you can make that work, then you really show some power. But you see what they're doing right here. The 53 is just stalking and is going to set themselves up for the bus stop. If they can make a run through there with a little bit of a loose truck, this is funner than I thought.
Really entertaining stuff. Lots of battles throughout the field, and I think it's part of the beauty of road course racing is that you don't necessarily have to stay focused on the lead, because sometimes the best battles are a little bit further in the pack and in the field, the midfield as it were. That's what we're giving you a good look at right now as Phelps continues to lead. And oh, did you see Brandon McKissick just try and mash the gas pedal to the floor almost too much on the exit of the carousel? He had to catch it off the corner there, but manages to stay within maybe a truck length tops there of Colson Phelps at Iowa State.
Yeah, within striking distance to have a dive bomb going into one, and sometimes you got to put it and let it all hang out right there, and that's what the 53 did. McKissick really made that truck as wide as possible and just allowed an opportunity. Lost it down the straightaway. As we take a look here with Daniel Buttafuoco, he's coming here to take the white flag. James, I think he might have saved enough to win.
One more lap for Daniel Buttafuoco in the iFolio 75 to make it 2 wins in the last 3 races and 3 podiums in 3 races in the eNASCAR College iRacing Series. He's out front by 2 seconds over Thomas Toomey. Meanwhile, we go back to this battle with Colson Phelps and Brandon McKissick through the bus stop.
Yeah, you see the 70s starting to slip up there, and this is where the 53's been really good. He gets right on the back bumper of the 70, sets him up through the carousel here. Then we're going to work our way down this short chute here, going into turn number 7, or 6, as they would say. Some people argue it, but in a good dive bomb spot to come here.
Big move here, working their way back towards the start-finish line and trying to figure out how they want to sort themselves out on this final lap.
Yeah, as we go back up here to Daniel Buttafuoco, Rutgers own looking to make a 2 for 2 here, and this is not a surprising run, but look at the focus on Daniel Buttafuoco as he comes to complete this.
Daniel Buttafuoco saves enough tires to make it happen across the stripe. It was a big charge late from Thomas Toomey, but there you see the smile on Daniel Buttafuoco's face, the let's go out of his mouth as he wins the iFolio 75 and picks up his 2nd victory in the eNASCAR College iRacing Series powered by NACE Starleague and burns it down over by turn 1.
That's a great way to burn it down. Go over there and just tear it up into one as you take a look at this battle right here. You're going to see that 80 really try to make the run off the corner to get this position. It's not going to work. He's got loose off the corner there.
Here's that final look at some of the battles here. This is Christina Ryan trying to fight and get this last position, but it's not quite going to be enough as John Hall is going to hang on to the spot, and Hall managed to come over 11.
Oh!
Contact there and a big incident towards the back. Lots of trucks going around at the very end, and calamity here on the front straightaway as there's Colson Phelps and Brandon McKissick gaining spots right at the end of this.
I'd rather be lucky than good on a road course, and that's pretty lucky right there. Got spots at the end.
Just a few places there at the very end to sort things out as you see one more good look at Colson Phelps' machine, but it's all Daniel Buttafuoco today as it was at Charlotte 1 month ago. He is victorious in the iFolio 75 at Watkins Glen International. 3rd podium in a row as well. Wins the race by just over a second from Thomas Toomey out of the University of Virginia. Saddleback Community College's Logan Clampitt comes over 3rd. Stephen Wilson out of the University of Iowa was 4th. Garrett Lowe from University of Charlotte comes home to round out the top 5. Omar Diallo from the University of Wisconsin at Milwaukee finishes 6th. Ryan Doucette brings it home 7th from the University of Southern Maine. It was Jack Coyne who brought it home in the 8th position for Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. How about a debut for Juan Sheelan at a Union College P9 in this race? Big finish for him.
You got John Hall right there in 11th, Christina Ryan in 12th, John Schwartz 13th. Austin Farr down there in 14th with Blake Bottoms in 15th. Nick Robinson 16th with Matt Kemp, Ricky Springer, Colson Phelps, and Christopher Schella. Round out the top 20, James.
Florida Atlantic's Brandon McKissick was 21st. Reese Baham from Auburn was 22nd. University of Delaware's Chris Fritz 23rd, and Ryan Gabel from Dean College was 24th. Trent Curtis out of Buffalo was 25th. Will Weiser representing the Akron Zips, he finished 26th. Henry Morris in that late race incident coming off the final corner came home 27th. 28th went to High Point University's Brett Suggs. Rhode Island's Sean Yensick was 29th, and Trey Normile from Northern Arizona, the Lumberjack, was 30th.
Anthony Keys in 31st, Thomas Clausen 32nd, Jake Cummings 33rd, Travis Barnes 34th, Athena Leclerc in 35th, Derek Jennings 36th, Bolton Salick in 37th, Liam Sheen, and Connor Oskritz in 39.
There's your full field rundown and your final results from this iFolio 75. We now turn our attention to our race winner for the second event in a row. Terry Radford is with Daniel Buttafuoco.
Daniel Buttafuoco, what a go, man. What a race. How'd you do it?
Wow. Okay, it's kind of lucky. Yeah, so I really had a terrible queue. The track got super cool, and I got very tight, and I just missed my mark, so kind of screw. It could have been a top 5 start. And then made some mistakes, and then I was running around, I think, top 3 pace around there, behind those guys in dirty air. And then I thought for sure that it was going to be an easy no-stopper, and then I saw everybody pitting, and then I saw that with, how fast the track was and how I wasn't really going to make it, that I had to really save hard, and it was going to be hard to save that much fuel. So, yeah, that was pretty much what we had to do. And a big thanks to Jared and Don for helping me fuel saving there. That half lap of fuel was a lot harder than I thought, but we got it done.
How does it feel to go back to back and you win double now scholarship money for the University of Rutgers? Does this feel really good?
It feels amazing, honestly. If you would have told me that we would have won 2 races in the series, maybe even 3, if we had held on at Daytona, I would have thought you're crazy. As we're slowly making it to the start-finish line right now. There we go. It's crazy. I mean, it's a big thanks to everybody over at Rutgers for letting me do this. Everybody over at North Force Racing for helping me on the Road to Pro side. All my family and friends for the support in esports, and making this transition over from Heat has not been easy. It's been a wild journey. Can't believe this happened. This one maybe feels a little hollow because I had to save some fuel, but I mean, I even think that our pace was pretty strong without it. Just was mired back in traffic, but overall, just really happy with the performance. I can't really believe that happened. That was just amazing. Just really fortunate to be where I'm at, and it's thanks to a lot of people who have helped me along the way. It's great. And one more shout out, my mom. She made this car. Rutgers alumni or alumnus, I don't know the plural, but big thanks to her. And big thanks to everybody watching too, all the fans, everybody in the broadcast. It's really cool. I won't lie to you. Really cool. Really happy.
Congratulations, Daniel Buttafuoco, on your win here, and James Pike will pass it over to you.
So, for those who are keeping score, that's $6,500 in scholarship money for Daniel Buttafuoco over the course of the spring. He was 3rd at Daytona, and then 2 wins at Charlotte and Watkins Glen. So, he certainly has made the most of this eNASCAR College iRacing series. But a lot of fun to see all the action tonight, Sarah.
This has been very fun to watch. I was expecting a more laid-back race, but these drivers really came out here and put a show on tonight, and this just is a great showcase of our younger talent on iRacing.
It most definitely is. And for more information on how to start your iRacing career and to potentially get involved in the eNASCAR College iRacing Series powered by NACE Starleague, log on to iRacing.com today. For all of our partners at eNASCAR, CSL, NACE Starleague, iFolio, and for our team at iRacing behind the broadcast, Drew Adamson, Bo Albert, Sean Ambrose, Tim Burns, Tyler Hudson, Jay Kennedy, Tyler Maxson, Joe McManus, and Corey Vervincht, and Gary Weaver. And for my colleague in the booth, Terry Radford, I am James Pine. Thank you so much for watching iRacing's coverage of the iFolio 75 from the virtual Watkins Glen International. And congratulations to our winner of round number 3 of the eNASCAR College iRacing Series powered by NACE Starleague, Rutgers University's Daniel Buttafuoco.